Hello and welcome to another episode of Reworked. This week we're going to resume the search for the engine whine in the 1967 Volvo 1800S. You can hear, particularly here at idle, the noise we were talking about. The last video we did on the Volvo was going down the path of the theory that the whine was coming from the oil jet that oils the timing gear. We opened the timing cover and redirected the oiler and had high hopes at that time that that was going to solve the problem, but that was not it. Did not change it. So looking for other causes, I addressed this question to a couple of Volvo forums and got a number of responses. One person said that it sounded to them not like metal on metal, like a gear issue, but that they thought it was a air leak sound. And I can't say that it sounded like that to me, but decided to go ahead and investigate that possibility. And I got out my smoke machine and found that it was broken. Its air pressure regulator that regulates the pressure to 1 psi was clogged or cracked, and so I ordered a new one from Amazon, and that came in. And so today we're going to smoke test the intake side of the V18 engine, see if the intake manifold gasket is leaking or not. So I'll show you how to do the smoke test. I'll describe the smoke machine and how it works and how to set it up, and then we'll go from there. This is the smoke machine. This is an improvement over the previous version in that this one comes with its own fan, so it doesn't have to be hooked to a air source like a compressor, and therefore it doesn't have the pressure regulator to go bad. It's essentially a pressurized container that has a wick inside that has electrical resistor around the wick, and it warms it up and causes the mineral oil to smoke, and then you engage the fan and it pushes the smoke out. All right, this one came from Amazon. The brand is autolinepro.com, and it worked very well. The smoke machine uses 12 volt power to heat the coil that causes the mineral oil to smoke, and so it comes with clamps that you hook to your battery. This one, because it has the built-in fan, has two positions on its switch, heat only and heat aux. Aux turns on the fan. So the instructions say turn to heat only to warm up the coil a little bit for 1 minute, and then turn on the fan. While it's warming up, we'll look at how you plumb the smoke into the engine. To smoke test the intake side of the engine, we're going to plumb smoke here into the front carburetor. And I've pulled the barrel up to allow smoke access into the intake. We're going to go ahead and turn the smoke on. And then look for areas that have a smoke leak. I'm not seeing anything here at the intake manifold gasket. No smoke, don't see any leaks. So that's good. So the engine passed the smoke test in that there doesn't seem to be a leak around the intake manifold. The smoke machine is a really valuable tool. You'll see a lot of advice online just to spray carb cleaner or brake cleaner around the engine, looking for a change in RPM where a vacuum leak has sucked the flammable material in and raised the RPM of the engine. I never found that to be useful in terms of pinpointing leaks, and I used my old version of this, same company without the fan, to diagnose problems with the D-jet Bosch fuel injection on my 1970 1800E. This is a carbureted car, but for 1970 they moved to the B20 2-liter engine with D-jet mechanical, or I guess it's electronic fuel injection. Had a early computer in it, and I could not find where the air leaks were on that car with spraying flammable material. So I got the previous generation of this smoke machine and found severe leaks at 2 of my fuel injection seals, and then minor leaks throughout the intake, including a hole right through the pinhole right through the side of the aluminum cast intake manifold. Anyway, smoke machine was critical in getting that car running, and for the price, I think this one was $90. I think it's an indispensable tool. So the smoke test didn't find a problem with the manifold gasket, and then we moved on to the kinked hose between the valve cover cap and the front carburetor. After the suggestion of an air leak from the manifold, the next thought was that a kink in this line might be causing the problem, and people commented, not to my last video, but in a question I asked on a forum about this problem, that this generic line was wrong in that it didn't have this 90, so it mounted like that and then had to kink over to get to the mounting at the back of the front carburetor. So I went out to a parts car behind the shop, in this case a 1972 1800ES, the sport wagon version, and this was the one that was on that car, except it didn't have this fitting. That car has a Weber carburetor, and the part only went to here. That's the length of the hose. That won't reach the SU fitting, but I think the important part is that we have this 90-degree fitting to keep from causing a kink, and so I took some of the kinked hose and this generic fitting from an air tank accessory parts kit, and I've extended this old Volvo hose to reach the SU. Now I'm going to have to put this down to put it together, but I'll do that next. So I put that together, and now we have a no kink hose coming from the cap on the valve cover, and we'll start it up and see whether the noise is any better. Noise seems to be gone. So the commenter on the Volvo forum was correct. It was this kinked hose from the valve cover cap to the carburetor. And now it's back to sounding like it did when I first got it running last year. So this is great. Shut it off now, and it'll probably diesel on me. So I think this 90-degree fitting that came off the parts car is the important piece of the fix here. I'm going to buy the Volvo specific hose. This one's old and brittle. I'm going to buy a new version of the Volvo specific hose here to the SU, and when that comes in, I'll replace this one. So I think we're solved on this one, and can move on to other projects on the Volvo, such as installing the windshield, door glass, interior of the doors, including the handles and locks, and then the inside skin of the door, and then putting the seats in. And then we should be ready for initial test drive. So next week I'm going to resume work on the 2002 front suspension rebuild now that all the parts are in. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share.